What's up, spell slingers? Chris, Legendary Mana, and it's time to talk iconic masters creatures. What could, will, or might we see in this set? These are our opinions on what we think could find its way into iconic masters. Now, if you missed our previous episode where we talked about spells that could be in this set, in the description below, you will find a link to that video. Please remember to like, subscribe, or even just comment on the video. Tell us what you think we either missed or, what your opinions are, what could be in iconic masters. Now, this section was specifically described by wizards to include angels, sphinxes, demons, dragons, and hydras. With that in mind, we could name tons of honorable mentions like Seer Angel or Gristlebrand, but let's face it, this category is swimming with cards that could get the nod. So we decided to focus on the ones we feel need a reprinting the most and could be considered iconic. Starting with Hydras, there are quite a few here that could see a reprint, but not a ton of value. With that said, we do have a few that haven't seen the light of day for some time. Photo Hydra, Premoral Hydra, Feral Hydra, Kalani Hydra, and Progenitist. Now, you might say that Progenitist has seen reprints recently, for instance, Eternal Masters and as a GP promo, but it also hasn't seen new art for ever. Also, there's no question that Progenitist is iconic, and it's time for new art. I think this is the set to do it, if ever there were a time. Kalani Hydra is just ridiculous despite not seeing a ton of play, and Premoral Hydra would be bonkers in limited. Now, it's unlikely we'll see all of these, but we should definitely see at least 2 for sure. Demons have a deep past in Magic, but one thing I realized is a ton of them have been reprinted in the last 5 years. So our list contains demons that could be included mainly for limited play and haven't seen reprints recently. Seizen, Perverter of Truth, Ob Nixilis the Fallen, Lord of the Void, Rakdos the Defiler, Master of Cruelties, and Defiler of Souls is a pretty nice list. But let's face it, all of these will not get included. In large part, they are just way too big to fit in one set. But any inclusion of these cards would make limited pretty fun. Now, Sphinxes were slightly harder to figure out because this is a creature type that I'm not 100% on the lore. So the picks we made are solely based on our limited research and picks of the litter that I thought could make sense for both flavor and limited. Vexing Sphinx, Sphinx Sovereign, Sharding Sphinx, Ispira Supreme Judge, and Sphinx of the Lost Truths. These cards are just amazing on the surface, but when you think about playing these in limited, wow. The one that sticks out to me is Vexing Sphinx. Discarding cards at your upkeep, adding a counter, and when it goes to the graveyard, draw a card for each counter on Sphinx is just hilarious. Sphinx of the Lost Truths is just a great limited inclusion, and Ispira Supreme Judge can just be fun overall. Now, I may be way off base here, but I think we'll likely see at least one of these. Before we cover angels and demons, I must say these two were the hardest to look at, with over 100 of each in Magic history, and the reserve list taking away some iconic ones like Mist Dragon, Vishivan Dragon, Guiding Spirit, and Gabriel Angelfire that can't be reprinted. Also, there are some auto-includes like Sierra Angel and Furnace Whelp. Going through all the possibilities is a pretty large task. So even though there might be some on our list that you may not agree with, keep in mind we chose some of the best options that will suit a limited play environment. So now that we set the stage, let's get right into the list. Angels were difficult because there are so many, 143 in Magic's history to be exact. Our picks start with Blinding Angel, Maelstrom Archangel, Chancellor of Annex, and Sigarda, Host of Hurons, all of which haven't seen a reprint recently, and most see some play across the different formats. Blinding Angel is just a fun card and could be a bomb in limited. Chancellor of Annex is one silly, fun inclusion, and I think we can all agree that Sigarda, Host of Hurons, should be an auto-include. But like I said, there are so many here, so here are 4 more for you to think about. Bruna, Light of Alabaster, Janara, Asura of War, Deathless Angel, and Seraph of the Dawn are all great possibilities. Low end value, but could be either functional or fun and limited. Moving on to dragons, it was even harder than angels because dragons have a really high mana cost, but there are also many that are pretty cool and iconic. Let's face it, limited is a focus when constructing this set. So here are some of the dragons we feel have a pretty good chance of seeing a return in Iconic Masters. To start, Dragon Broodmother, Skithrix, the Blight Dragon, Karthus, Tyrant of Jund, and Hellkite Overlord are all strong possibilities. But I think the most likely would be Dragon Broodmother or possibly Hellkite Overlord. These inclusions would also see some play with the new Commander 2017 deck that was recently printed. Kokusho, the Evening Star, Furnace Dragon, Scourge of the Kerr Ridges, and Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas I feel is an auto-include, but you can say the same about Kokusho, the Evening Star, and Furnace Dragon. I think each of these have a place in this set. It's just a matter of what kind of flavor Wizards is going for.